Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome back to Unapologetic Voices, your number one show for funny jokes, crazy stories, and just two friends trying to interrupt each other as much as humanly possible. I'm Thomas Tripp, joined by co-host Kyle-Elio Torres. Thanks so much for listening. If you liked anything that we do, leave us a comment, a concern, or I don't know, maybe a little cha-chang at unapologeticvoices1@gmail.com. Follow us on Spotify. Mostly, we're also on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Is that correct, Mr. Kyle?
Yes, we are.
Look, he's here too. Ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between, please listen and enjoy.
What should we talk about now?
I lost it.
We've been on a whole tirade.
Ghost stories.
Ghost stories?
Yeah, do you have anything paranormal that happened to you?
I have something that it didn't happen to me, but it happened to someone in the family recently.
Oh, shit. And it's recent?
So, yeah, like literally a few days ago.
What do we got?
So in our village in Kaiping, we have like the whole village, and we have like a center like house.
Kaiping.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
My fourth grandma was staying in the village. Don't worry about that. There's a whole bunch of details. But anyways, she was staying in the village, and a crow flew into the main house. And they searched all over for that bird, and they couldn't find it.
Oh, it's a bad side.
And then later that day,
Look at the time, boys.
at night, I guess she went to sleep or whatever, but she woke up in the middle of the night, and she just saw, like, my grandma, and then she said, I've come home. And then she woke up, and she didn't see anything. But so apparently now we have to, like, put an altar for my grandma in the main house.
Holy fucking shit.
Oh.
See, that's the kind of shit
That's
that is
wild.
real because, like, it's not scary. It's not like this was dramatized for somebody. That's something that, like, happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you saw a crow fly in, couldn't find it, and then all of a sudden you see your grandmother who passed. Oh, yeah. Dude, that's real. That's a spirit right there.
So the way that he explained it sounded like it was going to be very horrifying, right?
He did?
But then that last sentence just sounded like a quality of life change,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It just sounded like, wow, that's a very humbling story. You set up a loving shrine for her, and she welcomed herself back.
You set up
into
the
house.
shrine, right?
It's happening.
They
now.
set it up?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But in my head, I'm like,
Because, hey, man.
what if they didn't set up the shrine? Would they have to put up the mirrors?
Dude, Grandma would be mad, for sure.
Wait, like, one of your grandmas saw another one of your grandmas?
So,
How many grandmas?
How many grandmas? do you have? What the
so
fuck?
they're numbered. My grandpa had 4 brothers.
Okay.
So the 4th brother's wife, that's my 4th grandma.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
counts as a grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But, like, who did?
Or 3 brothers, rather. There's 4 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got
Donnie, is that how the tree works?
What?
The family tree.
Donnie is very handsome.
You see him chug that fake?
Is that how it works? Because I remember us
He didn't
looking
think
at
I
like
was
a
looking.
family tree and how that
He
works.
drank the
enjoying
whole
it.
goddamn cup. Off camera.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, let's not worry about it right now. We'll talk about it later.
It's a
Wait,
whole
Thomas,
hierarchy and stuff.
Anything
Yeah.
paranormal?
We're here for paranormal
Because he wants to
stories.
be the greatest of greatest uncles.
So it's called the great grand uncle.
Yeah, the great grand uncle.
Great grand uncle.
That's what he wants to be.
Because the number of prefixes makes it sound like you like wear that on your.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I like that. Nothing that, it's one of those things where I have to really think about it and reach in because I've always had a really, like, strange connection with paranormal stuff. I'm not a religious guy, but I am a spiritual sort of dude. Because I've been around way too much stuff for there not to be some sort of paranormal or spiritual stuff going on. And I also am very clairvoyant, is a good word to say it. Like, in my dreams and in the day, I know if it's, I'm wondering if clairvoyant's the right word. I can, like, see things or tell things about somebody or an event that's going to happen or that
He
has
sees
happened.
shadow people.
I see things, and, like, I really
woods.
just have such I feel like I have such a strong wall built up around myself where, like, I don't give a fuck. So it doesn't really affect me. Because I feel like people who have that sort of capacity like I do, it's more of, like, they open it up too much, or they're too like nervous around that kind of thing, and that's where all these like stories come from, and that's where all the movies are based off of, because they allow things like evil spirits into themselves. Does that make sense? Like they basically are too quote unquote weak to handle stuff, and that it makes it so easy for spirits to become attached to them and haunt them and stuff. Because I feel like I see a lot of stuff. I feel like I felt a lot of things, but I'm honestly just like, fuck off. You know what I mean? I'm like, go away. Like, you can't touch me. You know what I mean? So there's been a couple things. I mean, nothing that really comes to mind that I could tell a full-blown story at this moment. But maybe one day we can have something. But I want it to be genuine, I don't want to just spill something out that I can't remember and just make things up about it. I want it to be a genuine, like, dude, a fucking crow flew in, man.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
So Kyle mentioned
Pelos?
that there's mirrors all over our houses. And
his house,
That's
yeah.
definitely because my house is haunted and stuff.
Why are there mirrors, though? Just so you can see behind you, or what?
Kind of like it's like a gateway and it like confuses the ghosts. Or
'Cause
like
it's a
traps
gateway?
them. Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha.
We have mirrors like in every like entrance of the house, and one right outside. Also
Outside?
Yeah, like it's
Oh.
just hanging outside on a nail.
Why are you looking at me like that?
What do you mean? Like, I wasn't judging you for not knowing that.
No, he was
But,
just so, like...
The original owners of our house,
I also zoned out for a sec.
Oh, I gotcha.
the guy was repairing the roof and he fell off and died there.
Okay.
So,
So you think
there's
the spirit
definitely people
lingers?
that died in our house.
It's weird that how they linger, though, because I'd like...
The same roof
If I
that
died
that
of
guy
an
fell off,
accident,
I had
I'd
to
be
get on
relaxed.
top of, and I fixed his roof.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's exactly where he fell off and died.
Yeah.
So mirrors everywhere. Let me ask
Yeah.
you, does it get hot in there?
Um,
Because there's mirrors everywhere, doesn't it bounce light and heat?
no.
No.
No?
They're little like hand mirrors that we hung up by a nail. But
Okay.
like when you're in
But
my house,
it's-
even when you're by yourself, you'll hear like the wood creak
Yeah.
or like a door like swing open or something
Right.
like subtly.
Well, that's
Oh my god. That fucking
You're
reminded
just walking
me.
around the house.
I stayed the night at Johnny's house one time with Leo.
Were you down in the store?
Yeah. So me
Was there more
and
to tell?
There's more to tell.
Pelos's brother.
That's okay. It's part of it.
Okay.
It'll add to it.
What? No, this adds to his story.
Okay.
That's the only reason why I'm like trying to jump in.
I got you.
So me and Johnny stayed the night at hit or not
Leo.
fuck. Me and Leo
At my house.
stayed the night at Johnny's house.
Leo and
I don't give a fuck.
I.
And we were up all night playing video games, doing whatever.
For sure.
And Leo was like, "Dude, I'm fucking tired." And then I'm like, "All right, go to bed, man. Like, couch is over there." And I don't know what it was, but Leo was like, "No, dude, I want to like sleep on a bed. I'm not fucking sleeping on the couch." And I'm like, "All right, just go to the fucking basement. There's a bed down there." And he was just like, "We're going to bed. You're fucking coming down there with me."
Yeah.
And then I was just like, "All right, whatever you say." Like I wasn't ready to go to sleep.
That's fair.
I was full on just continuing playing on the computer, doing whatever the fuck I was doing, and I was like, "Well, Leo commanded it.
Yeah.
I gotta get up." So I got up and we walked down to the basement. This fucker didn't bring us down there.
No, I didn't. He's been down there before though, so he knows there's a bed.
Right. I know where it is and all that, right? But we go down there and it's dark as fuck because we didn't know where the light switch was to
Okay.
get down there.
Yeah.
So we pull out our phones and we're just like walking down the stairs. It's not like a crazy walk or anything, right? It's just like a C, but stairs going
Okay.
down. So we walk around it, even though the light switch was literally right in front of us fucking eyes. We could have just went and then walked down the stairs perfectly safe. We didn't fucking see it. So we go downstairs, we get down there, and we're just looking. And let me paint a mental image, because right from the stairs, you see a room that looks like a fucking cage. And it is essentially this boxed
I don't know who
room.
built it that way.
It's a boxed room that has, instead of a wall, it has a partial wall, and then it has like netting, a fence
It's like a
netting,
window net.
or some shit going all the way across.
Oh, it's one of those. It's a storage thing, like they have at shared apartments.
So like
Like in the basements, it's a gated thing, right?
so there's like a normal door there, and there's a half like it kind of feels like a half wall.
Yeah,
because
and then you
it's
can see through a
thicker.
fence.
Yeah,
It's
like
not a fence though. It's a
not
window.
It's a window.
It's one of those things that keep the mosquitoes out.
Yeah.
Oh, mesh?
Yeah, it's like a mesh netting. And I look at it, and I'm like,
This is so weird.
and we're looking at it using a flashlight.
Right, so you're like, what the
sucks
fuck
ass.
is this? Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I've been down here. It's never looked this scary. And he was like, and Leo was like, that's why I needed you with me. I wasn't coming down here by myself. And I was like, all right, whatever. Let's fucking get in here. And we literally walk over, and there's like boxes blocking the door. And I'm like,
uses it.
Yeah, no one uses it. They just put boxes there, like whatever. And I'm like, we gotta move all this shit. We start moving it all, and then we like tilt the little latch because apparently it locks from the outside, not the inside.
Okay.
It doesn't lock at all, really.
Whatever.
By the way, somebody built that to keep someone down there.
Right.
Yeah. So then I open it, and then we get in there, and then we look at the bed.
Is that where the bed is, by the way?
There's
Yeah.
a bed in there.
Okay, let me ask another question. Is there
Why
like
the
also
fuck is
like
that bed
handcuffs
there?
and like a toilet in the corner?
I don't know.
There is
There's
a
a toilet
toilet
down
underneath the stairs, which I did not know for a long time until this fucker called me one
Does it
day
function?
and was like,
Yeah, it's
hey,
functioning.
you're at my house right now, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in your house right now. He's like, oh, I redid my house insurance. Can you go to the basement and take photos for me? And then I took photos, and then he's like, did you get a picture of the toilet? And I'm like, what fucking toilet? And then he said it's underneath the stairs, and I was like, this is the scariest fucking bathroom I've ever looked at.
Oh, well, I know what you mean. It's like in a closet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got
But-
a window, though. One of those basement windows.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
But we go in there, and like there's stuff on the bed, like a bunch of shit. And we're like, man, whose stuff is this? And we start moving all of it. And we start stacking it all nice on the side and shit. And we found like a fucking, I think like a 64, Nintendo 64.
Oh, okay.
We found like a Nintendo 64. We're like, damn, we should play that shit. We just kept moving stuff, right? And then we get to the bed, and like there's all these blankets. Like literally, there was just blankets. And like the bed was made. There was just shit on top of all of it. And we took it all off, stacked it nicely, like random boxes and shit. And then I was like, all right, let's get under the bed, lay down. We'll warm each other up. We'll be safe. And like
Nice.
the whole time, I'm just like,
Protect each other.
I'm ready to go to sleep. And keep in mind, I didn't always snore as loud as I did, right? I think during that time I was a little more tame.
Tell yourself that.
He's always been terrible.
I've always been terrible, but I think I was a little more tame back
It doesn't
then.
sound like he's dying back then.
Yeah.
That's
It's gotten
Okay.
worse.
I got you.
But fucking Leo was like, I just remember him saying, he's like, hey man, are you cold? I was like, yeah, bitch, we're fucking in this basement. It's fucking like 30 degrees, dude. It's fucking freezing. What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, I feel like someone's staring at me. Goes asleep.
Oh, no, dude. No. You felt the cold touch of death, and then someone staring at me, and then passed out on you?
He's like, I feel like someone's staring at me. It goes right to sleep.
Someone killed him.
And I'm just like,
It's not even the real Leo anymore.
and I'm like, huh?
No.
And then I was like, oh well. And I went to sleep. And I just remember having the worst fucking nightmare
Yeah.
at Johnny's house. It was
Oh my
the
There's probably dead people
And-
staring at
and
you
I
all
want
night.
you to know I had the craziest nightmare, and ever since then I've only ever slept on his couch in the open where everyone can hear me snore because I don't give a fuck. I'm not
Well,
going-
that same night, I wook up and I walked out into the living room and I was like, huh, Leo's on the couch.
Leo left me?
you there.
Son of a bitch.
You really, I didn't even know, like, I remember you telling me before there's a bed down there, but when we almost, like, stayed at your house because our power went out, the
Mhm.
basement and a bed was never mentioned. It was, we got this love seat, we got this couch, and I'm like, I'd rather go freeze and sleep on my bed than sleep on a love seat and a couch.
Dude, I kind of want to sleep over in that bed and just see what happens.
It was just, I didn't feel nothing, right? I was good. I was great. And then he said that shit to me, knocked out, and then I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then I just remember the craziest fucking nightmare. I woke up sweating.
Yeah.
Oh my
The spirits were probably
God.
trying to get into your head while you were
They're
sleeping.
trying to
As a
Take
kid,
over
I
your
always had
body.
a bad feeling about the basement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
because
terrible
people were
feelings.
fucking murdered in that
So
room.
so this leads me to another like random banter because I've never had.
Get more
I
time
slept
on
in the basement.
Oh yeah, was there any other extra parts for your story?
It's not about the basement though. So
Okay.
if you have anything to say
It's
about
not that
that,
bad.
let you go.
Alright.
Finish your thoughts then.
All right. So there's the mirrors and stuff. The next thing is in my bedroom that we have now. Me and Kyle painted it, renovated, and everything. There's like little like red crosses on the corners of the bottom of the room.
Yeah, all over.
All over.
Just red crosses all over the place.
Wow.
And I was just like,
Remember that?
fuck is all this?
Yeah, I don't know why.
And then wasn't there a Bible? Like,
Yeah, there's a Bible and a cross in the closet.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's so cool.
And we were just like,
That
Gotta
can stay in
finish
there.
this.
Yeah.
Because, like,
I will say the temperature in that room does like fluctuate weirdly.
Ah, yeah, you're fucked.
yeah.
Uh-uh.
It's one of those like we were sanding the fucking ground. Like we were redoing his entire room. We were like,
Yeah.
I was like, let's fucking get this shit done. We'll paint. We'll fucking sand your floors, and then we'll paint it a new color. Blah blah blah, whatever. And we start doing it all, and then we just see all this random shit, and we're like, man, let's get rid of it all. You know, like really quick.
Hey, yeah.
And we never painted the fucking his closet. I think we did the
We
floor
painted
in there.
like that half, like the bottom half of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we were just like, fuck it. You know? That was fun doing that during that time. A lot of work and effort though. Because we didn't have the proper tool to like really sand the fucking floor. So we're like sitting there with sandpaper.
Yeah.
And then I did have the like one machine, which is like a sanding belt, but it did a great job, but it would have been better to have like the big machine that like sands everything equally better. Yeah, but we didn't do that.
I was talking about Ghost Story.
Yes,
That's the end of the ghost.
That's the end of the-
There's no real like ghost thing going on. With
He's
that.
got something
There's
cooking.
just stuff.
yeah.
He's been cooking.
Pelos, you've been really quiet. Do you have anything? Because I do have one that I'm ready to say, but I want you to go first.
No, I got nothing.
Is it the one about the house?
No.
Okay, because I want
Nothing happens to me. Everything else happens to the rest of the people
The
in the
people
house.
around you.
You could tell their stories.
Because I know,
Yeah, you can tell a good one.
I know my grandma's heavy into that. I know my sister's fucking cursed. And I know Leo's dealt with that too.
I just want to say one thing because I hate to cut you
Look,
off.
he can't shut the fuck up.
But I remember the first time I came to your house and I fell through your porch.
What the fuck happened there?
Because he just mentioned like everybody gets fucked up at his house. Nothing ever happens to him. First time I ever go to his house, I fall through his porch. And I just remember Leo looking at me and being like, being pissed that I broke his porch. Not that I fell through his
No, you
shitty
broke it.
ass porch.
Yeah.
Is that I broke his porch.
Yeah, you big fuck. That's how I feel if you broke my ottoman. I'd be like, you're a dick.
That's what I'm getting at right now. Like,
So that plank of wood was never nailed down. Like, you could just pick it up and like throw it.
oh
That was just funny. Like, it's been there for years. We never fixed it. We just broke it.
yeah, I just fell through it.
It's
And
part
I'm-
of the house.
They
I
were
was-
mad because they're like, we gotta fucking
And
fix
then-
it now.
And then like I think like a month later, like they never fixed it. They left it broken. And then like a month later they moved their porch to the other side because they just didn't want to fix that fucking shit.
That's a different porch.
Was it?
Yeah. That was our first house.
Gotcha. I'm
Yeah.
mistaken then.
Yeah.
Right.
It's probably still broken.
Let's say his ghost story.
But yeah, continue.
I've only witnessed my sister getting fucked over. We were skateboarding. She was in the back. She's slow as hell. I wasn't paying attention. I was with my friend. We were like way up front. And then Zio was with her. She was even further back. And I just hear somebody screaming. And I look back. I only see Zio. I don't see her. I look down. She's on the fucking ground. Just like not moving at all. And Zio's just like standing there, like doesn't know what the fuck happened. I go to her. She's not moving. She's like crying her eyes out. I like try to move her. and she just screams loud as hell. And we're like at, I don't know if you've seen that street behind that gym that you guys go to.
Yeah, the nice one.
I have.
Yeah.
Where the park.
Yeah,
like
we're on
Castro
there.
Park. Yeah.
We're on that street. We're like close to the main street there. My car was all the way on the other side where it starts by the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
My friend had to skate all the way back and bring my car all the way to where we were at. It took like maybe like 20 minutes. She still couldn't move. I had to carry her into my car. And like she was heavy as hell. But like
She's just skin and bones, just so that you guys know. She's literally a skeleton.
each time I like hit a crack, she would just scream. And my car is the fucking worst.
Oh, yeah.
So each bump, she was just fucking screaming.
Well, what the hell happened?
We got to the hospital. Turns out she like fractured her skull, and my train of thought was like she just slipped back. Like she put her foot too far back, and she just like kind of fell back.
Right.
I asked her like, what the fuck happened? Like she's done this for years, and she just said somebody pulled her hair back. I'm like, the only person behind you was Zio, and she was too far back to actually get a reach on her.
All you see is an evil face on Zeal's.
Oh,
I got that bitch.
And she's like a heavy believer on that too, and she was kind of just speechless on it.
Zio said she saw like
Yeah,
Like,
she saw your sister get
sister's hair
slammed.
Yeah,
move
that's
and
what
her
she
get
said.
slammed to the ground.
I'm not a big believer in that. I just thought she just fucking fell
Was she
back.
wearing a backpack? Did her hair get caught in her tank top?
She
or
wasn't
something?
wearing nothing.
Ah, fuck that.
From what they explained, it just looked like bah, it just slammed.
Yeah,
Like she felt it and Zio saw it.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
shit.
yeah. She was like pretty quiet the rest of that day,
I'd be quiet too, man.
and like
The ghost assaulted me.
there's this other time, she took my old room. I have like a, what's it called? Like a duplex or some shit like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She took my old room downstairs. It's her room, my grandma's room. Like on this side, on the left side of the house. Then upstairs, I live all the way up in the attic. Nobody fucking liked that idea that I was in the attic.
It's nice up there though.
I made it nice when I first got there. That shit was
Like
creepy
we
as fuck.
painted and shit.
There's still room all the way in the back that I don't trust, but I just have it blocked off. But I went downstairs. They were both like freaking out, and at that time we had a house not next to us, but maybe like a house away. It was an abandoned house. All the windows used to be boarded up, but I don't know who the fuck took down the boards. And my sister would just like fucking wake up like each night saying that somebody was in that other house just watching her. And it's just some girl just watching her. And fuck, I don't remember what they did. But they ended up tearing that house down. It was just a bunch of Venezuelan people there.
Venezuelans. That's what's been staring at her.
Yeah.
Ah, dude, the hair pulling backstory fucks with me though. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, but she's hasn't gone skating since.
Yeah, well, I'm glad she's alright. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But it's just like shit that happens to them. I know stuff's happened to Leo too, where he sees stuff.
Yeah.
And I know when you said that, I know he wasn't messing around.
Dog.
He just doesn't give a fuck.
I didn't know he left me.
He left
Because
me.
I remember waking up alone in the bed, but I just thought he woke up before me and just left.
No, that fucker woke up early as fuck in the middle of the night and came. Cause he had a blanket and everything. He's just like huddled on the couch.
Yeah.
Dude, he left you,
He
For the
left me
spirits.
for whatever was down there.
bro, and they got to you.
Well, I
That's
don't.
why you're the way you are now.
No. But so the story that I was going to tell, so at my house, or at my old house technically, not this house, when I lived with my mom and dad, there was a room in the house for the Santos, and it's the spirits of the house, right? I never believed in that shit. I didn't care for it, right? But long story short, a lot of Cubans believe that in every house there are spirits. and it's your job to treat them as family so that they will protect your house. Because if you treat them like family, they'll treat you like family. So, what my dad did was he set up a room with a shrine, and then he had every day he would go and he would get food, whatever my mom cooked for the day, right? If there was steak with rice and beans, he'd get a little plate, just a small bowl, put some rice, put some beans, take some of the meat, cut it, put the meat on there, and he'd take it up there and he'd leave the bowl up there for the spirits. And he'd do a little prayer or whatever for them and, wish good upon the house or whatever prayer that he's doing for the day, right? Only men were allowed to touch the stuff in that room, right? I remember one time that so my room was right next to that room. So like my door was literally just straight like if I opened the door, boom, there's the room. I got to go downstairs from there. So I always had to cross it, right? When me and my mom and sister and brother first moved into that house, it felt like we weren't welcome, right? Because we weren't welcomed in the house because the original owner didn't want us in the house at one point. And so what I mean by that is Andres's brother, his name was Gonzalo. He once kicked us out of his house because I think I broke something or I did something stupid.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You probably broke a couch, you fucking fat fuck.
I do remember him yelling at me one time for putting my feet on his couch.
Yeah.
But that's neither here or there. I just remember breaking something, and he was like, "You guys need to get the fuck out of my house." And he threw us out, and then, he let us back in another day, blah, blah, blah. And then he would tell us to leave, whatever. But he told his brother he's going to go to Cuba. You can have my house, but keep my traditions, right? So he's the one that originally set up the Santo room and all of that. And, his brother Andres being like the guy that he was like, of course, I'll follow your traditions that you did in your house because that's what your spirits are used to. So immediately he starts following the processes. My first week living there, I had nothing but crazy nightmares about that room. And that was before I was explained anything about the room, right? I just remember going up there, seeing a bunch of fucking statues and like random shit, just like antiques, right? It just looked like if you went to an antique store and everyone had like little shrine shit. And I'm like, all this stuff is cool. First day I ever went there, touched everything. So I broke the first rule because I was a child at the time. A grown man has to be able to touch it. And I didn't know that rule. All I know is the first time I went to sleep, I could hear voices through the door. And I remember in my dream, the door got kicked open. And all it was like extreme wind and light getting pushed on me. And it felt like I was being strangled.
Yeah, they were coming for your fucking ass.
And I remember waking up in the middle of the night. And
be touching shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I
To this day.
I remember screaming, and then my brother waking up because we shared the same room, but it was like I had one half, he had the other half, and his half was like extremely big. I got like this tiny ass corner, but that's neither here or there.
80-20.
Yeah, and I remember him waking up, walking over to me, and threatening to whoop my ass if I don't stop fucking screaming and like whatever bullshit. And I was like, okay, I'll stop if I can sleep in the bed with you. And I went and slept with him. And then the next night, the same shit happened the night after that. And then that's when I like asked Andres, I was like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm having these crazy nightmares. And he's just like, I need to go pray. And I'm like, what happened? And then I remember my mom sitting me down saying, you broke one of the first rules of the house. you can't touch this, so you have to go say sorry. And I just remember going up there and being like, you know, nonchalant, I don't know who you guys are, but I'm sorry.
Knickknacks. You don't even understand their like.
It was just like these little statues of like black people and stuff, right? And I was just like, sorry, little black people. I didn't mean nothing by it, you know? And then like my dad did his prayer or whatever. And then like that was the first night that I had where like it felt normal.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, oh my god, they were gonna get me. And I just remember one time my mom touched them or something, and she was upstairs cleaning, and it was nighttime, right? Like my brother was out, I was throwing out a bag of garbage. I'm coming right back, and my mom falls down the stairs, just tumbling. And as soon as she like landed on the floor, she's like, she said it in Spanish, but she's like, she said, the little black man just pushed me. But she said it in Spanish, like, La negrito. Like, I just remember her being like hysterical about it. Because like, she fell down some fucking stairs, dog. Like, she tumbled. And she's like, he fucking pushed me. The motherfucker. I need to throw him out of this house. Blah, blah, blah. And like, she's like saying all this stuff. I'm like, just a piece of wood. Calm down. What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you fucking crazy? She's like, no. They tried to fucking kill me. I knew they fucking hated me. Like, she had like all this weird prejudice or some shit. And then I just remember Andres doing another thing where he did like more prayers or some bullshit. Because every once in a while, it felt like they would test the waters with the household. I don't know if my sister had any of those issues, but I remember that happening to me. And it was the exact same feeling I had sleeping at your fucking basement. And that's what I'm remembering. And I'm like, I've been through this. I know what I'm feeling right now. So I'm like, maybe that's what it was. But that, I don't know. I don't really see that as like a paranormal thing. I just felt like it was a fuck around and find out thing. Right? Because, you know, I got warned.
No, not right. It is a paranormal thing. And here's the thing.
They're the family. They're
the
my family.
dead are also telling you that the things you do are bullshit. Why would you do it the living as well?
Yeah.
Stop touching things.
No, that's not the case.
Stop talking to people like they're, you know.
No.
Just relax.
That's not how that works.
You gotta calm down.
But one of my first, like, real, like, paranormal issues that I've ever had.
Are you in the house?
Yeah.
No, let me say my story first.
Sure.
All right. So,
I also want to
see.
add.
Go for it.
We're at the hospital. They also found blood in her ear, and
Your sister.
yeah, she was at the hospital, and the doctor said that she was like a couple centimeters from losing her hearing in her like, I think it was her left side. Of her ear.
They almost got her ass.
Oh, they came for her.
Yeah.
So my godparents' house, not the one they're living in now, the one before the one they're living in now. That bitch was haunted from like the second they moved in. Every night she would turn off all the lights to the basement and shut the door to the basement. And every morning, door would be open, lights would be on. Even if you're just chilling in the kitchen, the door would just open. Like they wanted that shit open and the lights on 24/7. And then like you could even hear it after you shut all the lights off, shut all the doors, go upstairs, you could hear the door like open by itself. So we already knew that bitch was haunted. I don't think I told him that though. But me, Megan, and Sam used to do like fake little seances. We would write on paper like
That's your first
yes,
mistake.
no, numbers, letters. And so we would do it at like the kitchen table and we'd hold hands and we'd ask questions, whatever.
It sounds like that intro to that movie, The Haunted House.
Yeah, you're opening up way too many doors.
Yeah. She did like the seances for some Louis Vuitton shoes.
Oh.
That's awesome.
So we're doing that, whatever, and we're like, the most activity happens in the basement, so we should like do this in the basement. Maybe something will happen. And so we're like, okay, but we got to make a pact. If anything happens, we all have to leave at the same time. Like, we all have to go back upstairs at the same time. And we're like, okay, we were all down for that plan. We're like, sounds good. Even though, like, the stairwell is very narrow, I guess. So 3 of us could not possibly go up at the exact same time. But anyways, like, none of us wanted to be last, you know? Because we're like, that's the one they're going to get. But anyways, we're down there and we're sitting, like, crisscross applesauce, whatever you call that. And we're holding hands. And it's so quiet down there. It's so quiet. And we're asking questions and whatever. And I farted. It was very, like, quiet, though.
Okay.
But because it was so quiet, like, it was loud, you know? They were gone. The fastest I've ever, to this day, seen anybody run. They were halfway up the stairs
Your
in half
fart
a second.
scared them?
Yes! They thought it was a ghost.
God.
I was still sitting like this, and they were halfway up the stairs, and I started crying. I was like, I only farted. And so they came back down. They were like, oh, sorry. I'm like, sorry. We said you weren't going to leave each
That's
other, and you left
awesome.
me.
That's actually really funny.
I was like, you left me. And they were like, I'm sorry.
We left you because of a fart.
Yeah. So then we, like, get bored. We're like, okay, nothing's happening, whatever. So then we, like, do that thing where we kind of slowly went to the stairs and then, like, ran up them. Because, I don't know, we were trying to not be last. So we're like,
Yeah, I
I
got
don't
you.
want to, you know.
Yeah, you meander.
But then we
over.
get to the stairs and bolt.
Yeah.
So anyways, they asked if I could watch the house for them. They were going on vacation or something. So Kyle came to watch the house with me, so I wasn't alone. And I had to go to work. And then you could say your paranormal story.
So
When was this?
first and foremost,
2015.
yeah, this happened a long time ago. I literally walked around the entire house, like I just adventured the house, right? Because I was like, I got free reign. I get to walk around a white person's house. I wonder how it is
Is it a
here.
big house?
It was a very big house. Well, it was a nice house. It was a medium-sized one, right? Because they had upstairs, middle floor, and basement. Like a normal house, but like there was a lot of rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just remember I'm like, they literally have a shower on every floor. What is this bullshit? Like, because you know, in my
That
house
became
there's only
Kyle's-
one fucking shower.
That became Kyle's dream house.
So I'm like, I want 3 showers in my house. What is this? So like I told myself I'm going to shower in every shower. I don't give a fuck. And like, so I go.
I mean, you got to experience each one.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
So like, I shower in the one that's like in the kitchen. There's one right next to the kitchen. I go and I shower. Right across from it is the basement.
Mm-hmm. The door to the basement.
And I was like, I wonder what's down there. Like, because Courtney never mentioned the basement. She doesn't say shit about it.
Why would you?
Right. And I'm just like, whatever. I go and I shower in that room. Next day happens, whatever. Because we were there for like 5 days. And I go in there, I shower, and then I'm like, I haven't showered in the basement yet. Why don't I go down there? Go down there, I see that there's a shower down there. Because at first I didn't know there was a shower. I go down there and I'm like, wow, there's a fucking shower down here. And I use it. I don't know why I had this fixation on the showers. It made no fucking sense to me. But I went, I showered down there, and I just remember coming back upstairs, and I'm like, hey, how come there's a shower in the basement? She's like, oh, we don't go down to the basement. And I'm like, why? The fuck? And I'm like,
That was Megan's shower.
yeah, that's what she said. She's like, that's Megan's shower. We just don't use her shit. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. I won't use it again. But at least I got to use it the one time. You know? And then later on, the very next day, whatever, I go upstairs and I use the shower, the main one that's like, it's apparently hooked up to like the...
Does this story get like scary at some point?
Yeah.
Paranormal? Okay.
It gets...
It's just about showering.
It's just about showering.
Dude, it's like all I'm hearing is a fucking shower right
It's
now.
very nice.
Avoid
Alright.
the ghosts. Stay clean.
But whatever. So the whole time, like, the thing is, what I'm getting at is the whole time we never went to the no one went to the basement. The door
Right.
stayed closed. It was locked.
Okay.
I unlocked it.
So the showers had nothing to do with it so far.
The story leads up, right?
Okay.
But the showers are the reasoning why I
Okay.
unlocked the door and I, like, opened it.
Okay.
So I, because I went to the basement, showered, came out. I didn't lock it again. I just left it unlocked.
Okay.
Thought it was fine. fucking next day, whatever, I shower in the other place. Courtney tells me that they're doing this special fucking bullshit event at her job where they're doing some sort of like count fix thing where like
Inventory?
yeah, their inventory shit where like they work until like 2 a.m. And I'm like, all right, cool. What time do you have to go to work? She's like, I gotta go at like 7. I'm gonna be there until 2 a.m. And I'm like, okay, cool. She leaves. She goes there. I'm sitting there. I have Cupcake with me, and I'm walking around the house doing my own thing. And I'm just like, well, there's no reason for all these fucking lights to be on in the house, right? So I turn off the lights downstairs. I turn off the lights fucking in the next area. And then I like go upstairs and I walk up. Keep in mind, I walk up these stairs. They're quiet. They have like carpet on them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you walk up, it's just soft steps. And I'm like, okay, cool. Walk up them. I go and I look around. I see if any other rooms have lights on. No, it's just that hallway. I turn the light off in the hallway. I go and I fucking go into the room where I was. I turn the light off, close the door. I put Cup on the bed. I sit on the bed and I put on TV and then we just start watching. And I'm just like chilling, right? Like couple hours pass and I look at the time and I'm like, oh, Courtney should be coming home soon. I wonder if we'll eat something. Because, you know, I didn't eat the whole fucking time. I just waited. And I hear, like, it's about, like, 1. And I'm like, oh, maybe she got off work early. I hear the stairs. And it sounds like someone's coming up the stairs. But in my head, I'm like, it should have been quieter. But I hear, you know, like someone stomping as hard as they can coming up these stairs. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, why is this bitch just being so fucking loud? The fuck is this? And like, I'm looking at Cup and I'm like, Cup, can you believe this bullshit? And like, I'm just having like a nonchalant conversation with her. And she's just looking at me with her little fucking bug eyes and shit. And I'm like, I don't know, whatever. She'll be here in a second. And I hear the footsteps make it all the way to the top. I hear it stop. And then I'm like, okay, I wonder why she just stopped in the hall. Because I'm thinking, like, I'm mapping it in my head. And then I hear it was the mom and dad's room, that door, whatever their room door was. And all I hear is kicking and slamming on the door and like shaking, like something's trying to open the doors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck does that shit? And I'm like, I look at Cup and I'm like, dude, Courtney is on some other fucking bullshit right now. What the fuck is going on? So I get up off the bed, I turn my light on in the room, I open the door, and then I go to, because like, I guess in the hall, the light switch is right next to my door. And I flip the switch and I'm like, hey, the fuck are you doing? And there's no one there. And I'm like, carry on. Turned off the light, closed the door, turned off my light, and sat back on the fucking bed. And was like, I am not going to fuck with whatever that was. And
Mind business.
I turned up the volume on the TV. And I was like, come here, come.
I need you. My emotional support, bug-eyed witch.
And then literally like 30 minutes later, Courtney showed up and she came up, she, you know, turned on the lights, came up the stairs. I didn't even hear her come up the stairs. And then I'm like, and then I was like, I'm glad it was you this time.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And then, like, because that was like the last day, right?
Yeah.
The fucking family who we were staying the house for came, and I told them, I was like, yo, there was some fucking dude slamming on your fucking door, and they were like, what are you talking about? I was like, I don't know, but it must have been a ghost or something. I don't know what the fuck that was. And then they just fucking looked at me, and they were like, yeah, that was like Charlie. Like, they fucking named him.
Yeah, they know.
And they were like, yeah, he comes and hangs out in our room sometimes.
They know.
And I'm like, what? And then fucking...
Those type of people will never tell you until it's too late. Yeah.
Right. And then fucking the the husband who moved into the house, he was like, yeah, man. Because, like, he's, like, a really chill, but, like, he has, like, that gangster way of talking.
Yeah.
They moved at the same time, I thought.
He was like, yeah, man, you know, he used to just come in the room all the time. Like, we just leave the door open because he'd kick the fucking door if it was closed. And I needed to sleep. I got tired of it. And I was just like, why the fuck didn't anybody tell me? They were like, their exact words were, did you keep the basement door locked? And I was like, no. And they're like, that's what it was.
I knew.
And they're like, oh, so I just fucking let him out.
Yeah.
So that's his domain, is the basement.
I will say that house was like less haunted than their previous house.
Last month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit was flying off the walls. and
Charlie
stuff.
was chill.
Nah.
Charlie was, dude.
It's Kevin who you gotta watch out for.
At the house before that, like, Megan went to like get a glass of water. So her room's over here. You gotta walk through the living room and then end up in the kitchen. And on her way to the kitchen and go get a glass of water, I believe she heard like a high pitched, like kid sounding voice say hi. No one's there. And then so whenever I would spend the night a lot. So we would always like, I don't know. I think she felt more comfortable not being alone. But we would hear like people screaming. Like we heard someone scream in the hallway. No one's in the hallway. And so we screamed and we like held on to each other. We grabbed each other. We're like, oh my God, we're so scared. Someone screamed, whatever. Her mom comes in because her room was right next to her baby sister's. And so they have a baby monitor. And so they heard us screaming on the baby monitor. And her mom runs in. What the fuck are you screaming about? Go to sleep. Shut up. We're like, we heard someone scream. And she's like, I was listening on the baby monitor. I didn't hear her scream. I heard you guys scream. Shut up and go to bed. And we're like, okay. And then another time we heard a scream, but it sounded like in the neighbor's like backyard. But like right outside her window. And then right after the scream, right above her room was where you can pull a ladder down and there's like the attic. And her mom had all her totes of like yarn and scrapbooking, stuff like that. It sounded like a tote fell, like right after the scream. And then I think we like consoled each other then too. We're like, did you hear that?
Yeah.
What's going on? So we would hear and experience a lot more stuff at that house.
Right on. Rough.
So that house wasn't really like scary to me, I guess.
Wasn't scary to me either. I was pretty cool with the guy.
I didn't need my fucking cupcake.
I told him to carry on. Like, he can do whatever he wanted. It is his house. But
His house.
I just remembered earlier in the day. So like every once in a while, I'll get it on TikTok, right? And like this guy's videos will pop up where he's like a fucking Uber driver, and
Medium.
he explains to people that he's a medium, and fucking yeah, I know. He like it sounds like heartwarming and all that, the way that like he does his videos. But it's like he's explaining to these people as soon as they get in there, like, hey, I feel like there's a spirit following you, blah, blah, blah. Do you believe in, like, spirits and stuff? And, like, people are like, no or yes. And he starts answering all this stuff and telling them stuff that, like, because, like, he says to them, he's like, I don't want you to, like, give me answers exactly. I'm going to ask you some specific things, and you just tell me if it's correct or not. And, like, he'll give them, like, the name of the dead person, the stuff that they like to do, or like just weird shit, right? And they'll apparently get it right. And like all these people are like always amazed and shit. And then fucking I watched a different video and this lady gets in This lady gets in the car and he starts driving and he's just like, hey, I need to cancel our Uber call or drive with you. And she's like, what? Why? He's like, so I'm a medium and there are way too many dead people with you right now. I feel so sick to my fucking stomach.
I'm about to pass out.
I'm about to pass out. You
Oh,
need to, like,
I'm gonna crash the car.
You
There
need
are
to get out of my
200
car.
People following you.
And then she's like, oh, well, that makes sense.
I'm a mortician.
I'm a mortician.
And he's like, "Are you really?"
He's like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Get the fuck out of my car."
Yeah, he's like, "Thanks, exit now, sweetie. Thank you, bye."
Yeah,
And
like,
she got right the fuck out.
like I watched that. I was like, "Damn, that's the rudest I've ever seen." Like all of his shit sounds so wholesome.
It's like,
as soon as
your
that bitch got in
grandpa's
his
with
car,
you.
he's like, "Get the fuck out! Like, don't be here."
It must have been overwhelming.
He said
Yeah.
it respectfully, but
He said it
like,
But it was very stern. It
Yeah.
was like,
He
no,
was
I
like-
need you to go.
He was like, I'm
Yeah.
about to pass out, and I feel like I'm gonna crash the car, so I'm gonna pull over right now, and I'm gonna need you to get out. And she's like, okay. He
Yeah,
was like,
and the girl didn't even care. She's
Yeah.
like, "All right,
she just got right out.
sounds good."
He was like, "Are you really?" And she was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna need you to get out right now. Thank you. Bye."
Those type of
Like,
people are
she
so
didn't know.
desensitized. Like, they understand. Like, if someone tells them something, they're like, no, you're probably right.
Yeah, it's like I work with way too many dead people. Like that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you sure you didn't have a single story?
I think I did. But like I said, like, if it's not genuine enough, I don't want to, like, just spit it out without any of the strong facts or
That's
anything.
fair.
Yeah, because, you want them to be super genuine.
That's fair. Were there any random like things you wanted to add, Johnny? Like it could be a completely different story.
There's me and Jayu went to California one time. We went to San Diego to see and we just happened to go to the Midway, the aircraft carrier museum,
Yeah.
and we're hanging out there and exploring.
Midway's where people died.
We left,
Oh.
and I hear the story that there's when they close the museum and around midnight or whatever, you'll hear a little girl laughing, walking down the hallways of the Midway,
Just casually.
just casually, and it says it's pretty frequent.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
She barked. She doesn't like when I touch her wings.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Titanic museum? It flooded, and there's like no way it could have flooded. Like there was no.
It was
Like-
kind of built for flooding, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, the museum.
Have you seen?
I went to the museum. I don't understand how it flooded. Was it like a hurricane or something?
No, like
I was there.
It was on camera. Like they showed the videotape. Water just started rising from the floor, and then they checked like the water pipes or whatever. And there were no breaks or whatever. Like there was no reason for water to just come out of nowhere.
So I'm remembering this story of a plane crash, right? What?
Nothing, bro.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Your wife was talking to me. I was about to answer, and you just started rolling.
Oh shit! I didn't hear you go. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, all you.
I got lost in the sauce.
No, you didn't. I know you want to say something.
Nah, man.
You
I
also-
said all I needed to say with my eyes to Courtney. Courtney said what she needed to say, and I'm gonna give her one of these,
All right.
and I'm gonna give you one of these.
Give him one of these.
But
I
nonetheless,
want you to take back the middle finger you just gave me. I'll take all 50 that you sent me tonight. Take that one back.
okay, sure.
Stay unapologetic.
Stay
Yeah,
unapologetic.
go ahead.
So what ended up happening was I remember I used to be like into like watching a lot of horror shit,
Mm.
and I remember watching like because I wanted to see like real spiritual stuff, and obviously you go to YouTube to watch that bullshit.
Yeah.
As a little kid, I remember watching this phenomena or some shit like that. I think that's the correct word too. That there was a plane crash that happened like years ago or some shit, right? And the boat or like the ship is like at the bottom of the sea. Almost, I think every single person died.
I'm sorry, is this a plane crash or a ship?
Plane crash.
Okay.
Everybody died, right? And they used sonar to scan the
Wreckage.
the wreckage, and what they saw was when they scanned it and it pinged on their camera that they got, they saw like all of the bodies still had like heat source on them.
Oh.
And you could see every time it did that ping thing to like look at it, the image would update, and it looked like they were like moving in the ship, like normally sitting. And they said they pinged it for like hours, right? And you could see as the time progresses that it went from them just sitting, being calm and peaceful, to when the plane went down and you could see them all freaking out and moving frantic and shit. And then the moving just stops and everything goes dark again. And then they came, apparently whoever was like doing this sonar ping bullshit, they tried again like a week later and it's like the whole thing repeated itself. So they're saying, a lot of people are saying that these people are on a loop right now, forever dying over and over again in this plane crash.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just remember watching it and I'm like, oh, that's so fucking awesome. But then like, now that I'm older, I'm like, damn, that must suck to have to relive your fucking death over and over again in that manner. And I don't remember what TV show that I watched when I was little.
Lost.
No. But it had like a similar thing where it was a cartoon, but it was like this guy died and he relived his death over and over again. But it's like he figured out that if he kept doing this certain task, he would die there. So he would change what he would do every time.
ReZero.
No, not that, but yeah, sure. So I'm gonna explain it. He was in like a corner store, right? And he would go look around the store, grab some shit, go buy whatever he was gonna buy, and right when he's buying his shit, some guy comes in with a gun and just shoots his ass, right? If he decides not to go to the counter, a completely different scenario happens, but he still dies at the end. So like, no matter what he did, he can't get out of the gas station. Like the gas station is just his end zone in hell, and he just kept dying over and over again. I remember the episode ending with him escaping. Like he finally found the one route that let him get out of that gas station, and I think he talked to the demon that he had that was overseeing his torture, and was like, "Can't believe you got out. Got to put you back in," and he just put him back in. You know, and that was the end of that story. And I'm like, damn. Like, this is wild.
That is hell.
I have a more
Yeah.
spooky thing.
What's that?
So my aunt, she used to move a lot because she rented, and so a lot of the houses she stayed at were haunted. But like the most haunted one, they had a closet that they would not use because that was like the ghost closet. The door would always shake, and it would just sound like someone's knocking on the door, like trying to get out or something, like 24/7. And then the basement was super haunted. The door would always open, close, like open when you're just in there. Even when you're not in there, you would just hear the door open. And she had a roommate who had a baby, probably like 1 year old, and he would always be crying. And the mom would always go in there, and he'd be standing in the, what do you call that, like the crib, I guess. But you know the one that's like lower to the ground? I don't know what that's called, like a playpen or something. I don't know, but he would always be standing up in it, pointing at something, and she's like, "There's nothing there.
I
like,
fucking
what's
hate that.
you know, like
Yeah.
what's wrong with you?" There, like he would always just wake up crying, pointing at shit. And my aunt went to check out my cousin, who was probably about 6, maybe. I don't know, maybe younger, maybe 4, 5. I don't know, young. And she like
I was
crept-
thinking the same thing.
She crept into the room, and my cousin was talking to someone. She's like, "Who are you talking to?" She's like, "The little boy."
No.
Yes.
That's the kind of shit I don't like. Once the kids get involved, or the animals, because they can really see that shit, I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I'm for it.
I hate that.
So I'll add this part. So like I'm really big on haunted houses and shit, and I really love going to them. I think I've told you this story before, but my mom signed up to go to this haunted house. That was a special one where the people were allowed to touch you.
You did tell me this on the last
Was it on the podcast?
episode.
I don't remember telling it on the podcast.
Donnie, fact check.
So
I've been called upon.
Donnie's
Can't talk,
chiming
though.
in. All I need you to say is yes or no if I've talked to
No,
about
no.
this story, right?
Do this. For
I
no.
don't think you have.
Do this
but-
for yes.
Let me explain what the story is. My mom went to this haunted house with one of her best friends, and she found out that it's one of those interactive haunted houses where the people can touch you and beat the living shit out of you. Have I ever talked about that before?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. See that? I know I've told you the story personally.
Gotcha.
But my mom is a big avid haunted house person, and she loves going to all these crazy different haunted houses. And she found out there was one that you had to be 18 or older to go to. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. I'll go with my girlfriend. So her and her friend get ready. They go. They dress up all nice because it's girls' nights out. And I remember my mom being so happy about leaving. And she fucking... Literally, all I remember is she left the house. She comes back. She's got a black eye. She's fucking limping. Her arms, like, cramped. And she's like... She gets in the house, like... She's like, they fucked me up, man. I fucking hate this. This is bullshit. I can't believe I paid for them to beat the shit out of me. And we're like, what the fuck happened? Like, she woke us all up just to tell us this fucking story, right? So we go and get there, and she's like, listen, all I know is we get to this haunted house. They're all really nice. The people were so friendly at the front door. And they were like, we had to sign a waiver. And we were like, we thought the waiver was a joke because they were like, yeah, in case you get really hurt running through the fucking terror and all that. Like, the way that they explained it just made it seem like a fun haunted house, right? And then, you know, her and her friend, they just signed the paper. They're like, all right, fuck it. There's a lot of people there who went, you know? And I just remember my mom saying she walked into the first room and it was just like a chair. And the fucking one of the guys grabbed her, pushed her into the chair, and was like, sit down, blah, 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 yelling at her, right?
Fuck.
And she sat down. She's like, oh, this is entertaining, blah, blah, blah. And then she got socked in the fucking face.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
That's some McKamey Manor shit.
Yeah.
I would
And
never go to one of those.
she was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? And then
I'd be beating people up.
all I know is her and her friend, they got fucking beat up. Like, each room, they were doing, like, random shit, right? And my mom left that fucking room fast as fuck, got to the next room, and then the next person, they fucking, like, hit her in the fucking knee or something. And she already had a bad knee, so she was fucking livid, right? The whole time, she's like, I want to talk to your fucking manager, blah, blah, blah. And I'm
beat
like,
her up even more.
yeah, they're just fucking hitting her.
They're like, oh, this is a Karen.
But she explained, she got like halfway through before she just said, I'm going to the exit. Fuck this. I had to think about it. I'm like, you could have left as soon as you got socked.
Right.
You chose to continue walking through this thinking it was going to get better.
Bro, that's like not okay. That's some psychopathic shit.
Right. That place has never been open again.
Yeah.
You know? I'm sure they got a lawsuit, if anything. But I just remember her and her friend talking about it fondly. You know? Because they're just like, remember that time we just got our asses beat? Good times. like, what the fuck? But yeah, my mom went to a haunted house. Signed, if they ever have you sign papers, just know there's a chance you're getting your ass beat.
Yeah.
But that's like a side note. And I know I remember you telling me another story about a guy that like put up like $25,000 or something to like
This is the
torture people.
McKamey Manor
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to explain that.
Not at all.
Why not?
People can look it up.
Right.
You haven't,
And also, we're
that's
back.
the thing. You haven't like told a single like story. So you might as well. Go ahead. Give it your little last effort of like energy. I see it in you.
McKamey Manor is this guy a couple states away. He's pretty close though. He's not that far.
Yeah.
That owns this estate/ranch where he built a quote-unquote haunted house where I think there used to be a reward for completing and now there isn't because there's a bunch of like issues or something and I think people completed it and they didn't get money or something. Where he is basically he has them sign away their lives and he can torture them up to the point of maybe being scared so much to death but it's not horror house. It's like haunted housing. It's a torture house. So basically, he and a group of his people will torture you and pull fingernails and teeth and punch you in the face and shave your hair and drown you basically for like hours. And it's a free thing to go to, but you have to bring dog food for his pets, for his dogs that live on his property. And basically, like, I don't know, let's say a decade ago, he made it this big deal on social media, like, you know, come try to complete McCamey Manor, the world's, like, most intense haunted house. No one's ever been able to finish it. It's because it's a torture thing. So for years, it's always been, like, the talk of, like, people who love haunted houses, like, you know, never go here, or, like, you know, we need to find a way to shut this guy down because, like, he's basically a psychotic person. And I know lately it comes around every October. It comes around every fall because, like, people are like, how is that place doing? Or, like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw recently that someone did complete it. This lady, she looks like shit. Like, her hair is completely shaved off and not in, like, a, you know, like a buzz cut way, and, like, there's hairs sticking out and, like, you know.
Yeah, they
yank that shit out, basically. Her face is completely black and bruised and swollen. It looks like she had teeth taken out. Like, it's swollen around the cheeks. Like, it looks like she didn't get punched. It looks like she got teeth ripped out. Eyes sunken in, swollen shut. And, like, the guy on the video, taking the video of her face, is like, hey, you did it. You completed it. I want you to say you completed McCamey Manor. Good job. You did it. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he's saying, you did it. You can relax now. And the lady is, like, not conscious. She's, like, on, like, the inch of death, basically, and she's like, I did it, I completed it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's really bad, yeah, so, like, I don't know. I don't know if that's an older video or not. It looked new, because I've never seen someone that's completed it, quote-unquote.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, that sounds like something your mom might have went through.
I know she didn't go to that specific place.
Yeah.
Right?
But it was a place that was like that got shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, that's not okay. That's some psychopathic shit, and I will risk my life to fight somebody if they're, like, hitting me with a bat on my knee or something, you know?
Oh, yeah.
There's no shot. There's no reaction. Like, I was telling you the other day, I think I told you about the haunted corn maze ride that I was on.
Yeah.
Where these people were jumping into the thing. Obviously, they were teenagers working the farm or wherever we were on this, like, tractor ride. And they were pulling my hair and fucking with me. And at first, I took it as it should have been probably taken, which is, like, as a joke, or, like, you know, oh, these guys are trying to scare people, like, it's just fun and whatever. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that guy really grabbed my head, shoved it back, kind of like your sister on the skateboard, and, like, was, like, you know, really manhandling me. I'm like, I should have fucking flipped out. I should have, like, defended myself or something. You know what I mean? Because it's, like, those kind of people who will do that to somebody else. And just, like, get away with it. Which is probably how this McCamey Manor guy got started. He's like, oh, I like torturing people.
Yeah, that's why gladiators had short hair. So that you couldn't just grab people by the head and just stab them.
Well, they wore helmets. Some of them.
Not all.
But that's a side
That's a side note.
Fucking dumbass.
I was waiting to say it.
Stupid prick. Anyways, will you close us out?
Yeah, sure. How about Johnny close us up? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Johnny, I'm not hosting.
Definitely not.
But alright, everybody. I hope you enjoyed any of this content. If you did, leave a like, leave a follow. Hit us up on our email at unapologeticvoices